Miss Bateman, welcome back to Ticehurst House. It's been quite some time. Terrible weather this evening, is it not? Nurse Blaketon has had enough of me smoking inside. Makes her cough, you see. A bit of rain won't kill me, will it? You mustn't be interested in me nattering on. Give my regards to your father. Nurse Blaketon is preparing his supper. You look pale, Miss Bateman. Do head inside. You'll catch your death out here.
Dearest Mother, I hope this letter will reach you. I have spent these past years in torment, trying to piece together what remains of fractured memories. What I am about to recount to you will seem beyond comprehension, but I beg for your patience. I will endeavour to explain the events that led me to Ticehurst House that night. As far as I can recall, this whole wretched story started with the receipt of a letter from a Mr. Leonard Shoulder. The letter brought me to the isolated village of Bewley, deep in the moors. No station master in sight. I hope the village isn't too far away. I can't recall our exact meeting place. Mr. Shoulder mentioned it in his letter. Bewley. I have great expectations for this Barrow. The post looks unattended. Hello there? Hello? I must make my way to the Plough and Furrow Inn. I swear she was not standing there a moment ago. The tracks look quite untarnished. I don't think many trains come through here. My mother always told me not to walk on railway tracks. Excuse me?
Yes?
I'm looking for the Plough and Furrow Inn. Do you know where I can find it?
Ah, young lady. Leave the station and follow the dry stone wall for around half a mile. You'll come to Bewley. Go straight ahead and you'll find the market square. The inn is t'other side at square.
Thank you very much. What can you tell me about Bewley?
Well, it used to be a thriving village. Not so much now. I don't spend much time there these days.
Are you local?
Ah, yes, a local I am. But I don't live in the village.
Where are you travelling to today?
That would be none of your business, young lady.
Quite. Apologies. I wish you a pleasant journey. I swear she was not standing. A path stretches off across the moor.
What brings you to Bewley?
I beg your pardon?
What brings you to Bewley, miss?
I'm here to visit a local landmark, Hobbs Barrow.
Hobbs Barrow? Well, I can't say I've heard of it. For what reason?
I wish to excavate it.
Grave robber, are you?
Not at all. I merely have an interest in antiquities.
Not much to be found in Bewley, if you ask me. You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
I'll take my chances.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
That was odd. The path disappears over a small rise. A humble dwelling. The old woman told me to go straight ahead to get to the inn. I'll have time to explore tomorrow. The anvil looks heavy. Beating raw metal into a fine object is an admirable skill. The blacksmith looks closed. A simple broom. I didn't come to Bewley to sweep their streets. The bucket is rusty and full of holes. Perhaps this belongs to a merchant. This must belong to someone. I should leave it alone. It looks like I'm in the market square. I should find the inn. A local dwelling. Quite an ornate construction. This was created with pride and care. The cross denotes this as the site of a market, or perhaps a site of traditional religious significance. The sign is in a shabby state, but the shop appears to be a cobbler's. The cobbler's is closed. The building is in a dilapidated state. The door has been boarded up. The building looks like a ruin. There's more houses down that way. A small plaque beside the door reads Vicarage. The Plough and Furrow. I have a bit of time before Mr. Shoulder arrives. I should inquire about a room. The man looks thoroughly inebriated.
Hello there. What's the young lady doing out alone in this sodden weather?
I'm heading to the Plough and Furrow.
Bloody good pub, that. It has the finest ales in the whole county. Oh, I'll take you there if you like.
I believe we are standing directly in front of it.
Oh, so we are. Please,
Yes.
give us a kiss now, won't you?
Wouldn't your wife disapprove?
My wife? Bloody hell, my wife! My tea'll be on the table at this hour, and if I don't get back, she'll be roaring. Until we meet again.
What a buffoon. I should speak to the innkeeper about a room. It's a crudely painted scene that appears to be of a biblical nature. I don't want to take the painting with me. The prices are cheap here. The Last Order's bell, saviour of many a life. A fine exemplar of inebriation. Good day, sir. A decorative plate. This one depicts a cat. A decorative plate depicting a serpent. A decorative plate. This one depicts a bull. A decorative plate depicting an eagle. A decorative plate. This one depicts a dog. A decorative plate depicting a bear. The innkeeper is a serious-looking man. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, lass. How can I help you?
I am in need of a room for the night.
Aye, we aren't short of those. One night, is it?
I shall need at least 2 nights, maybe more.
Aye, 'tis not a problem. 3 shilling per night. That includes your dinner and tea.
A fair price.
I'll need that payment up front for the 2 nights.
This is payment for the room.
Thank you. Can I ask for your name, lass?
Thomasina Bateman.
And will Mr. Bateman be staying with us tonight?
No, I am not wed. My assistant is arriving in Bewley tomorrow.
Your assistant, you say? Will you be needing another room?
Please.
I'll keep a room spare. It's not quite as nice as yours, I'm afraid.
Not a problem, sir. I'm sure it will be adequate. Kenneth is a man of inexpensive taste.
Here's your key. Just go through the door to the right of the bar, then up the stairs. Room number 2.
Thank you.
Can I help you with your luggage?
No, thank you, sir. I can manage. I should go upstairs and freshen up before Mr. Shoulder arrives. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Miss Bateman. How can I help you?
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
Aye, I know the man.
I'm to meet him here tonight.
Can I get you something to drink while you wait?
Not yet, thank you. Bye for now.
As you were.
A rather miserable-looking fellow. He's playing a board game by himself. I think it's Three Men's Morris. The painting depicts a rocky-edged lake. A small bronze plate states the name Lake Cubilius. A pixie-faced peasant boy, painted in a naive style. A majestic animal, cut down in his prime. The crackling fireplace is more welcoming than the facial expressions of the locals. A colourful work depicting a bashful knight. It is signed N. Hamley. This painting shows a Rubenesque figure brushing her hair. Quite unusual to see such a sensual work in a room like this. A biblical scene of some kind. An angel is depicted looking longingly to the heavens. Hello, miss.
What do you want? Bugger off.
Hello, sir.
We are in the middle of a discussion here.
Sorry to interrupt. I do not need to use the lavatory. Good afternoon, sir.
Note for you here.
I beg your pardon?
I said there's note for you here, lass. Be on your way.
Charming. This shall do nicely. Time to change into something more comfortable. Much better. A jug of water. This may come in handy. I don't wish to carry the bowl around with me. I've hung my dress inside. Aside from that, the wardrobe is empty. A sturdy-looking thing, useful to many a weary traveller. I've stored my case in there. A box within a box. Jammed shut. The wood must have warped over the years. Ah, complementary matches. Useful. There's only one match left, though. As the only light source in the room, I ought to leave this here. A painting of surprising quality. It portrays a rocky outcrop overlooking a vast moor, perhaps a local landmark. A decorative plate depicting a goat. I don't wish to take it. Room 2, the Plough and Furrow Inn.
Miss Bateman, you've transformed.
I feel far more comfortable in my outdoor clothing.
You look like one of those explorers you see in the newspaper.
I guess you could call me an explorer of sorts.
I'm Stanley. Stanley Kemp.
A pleasure to meet you, Stanley.
And tell me, I trust your room is adequate.
Most adequate.
Excellent.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Aye, it's a quiet place. People keep to themselves, work hard.
I look forward to exploring the village tomorrow.
There's not a lot to see, lass. But St Edmund's Church is a fine building, worth a visit.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Kemp.
Well, I've been the proprietor of this inn for the last 16 years. I worked as a drover all over the country in my younger days. Saved up my coin and bought this place.
It's a fine inn.
Thank you. I often run short of ale, but my rooms are rarely full. We don't get many outsiders wanting to stay overnight here in Bewley.
Has Mr. Shoulder arrived yet?
Still haven't seen head nor tail of him, Miss Bateman.
What can you tell me about Mr. Shoulder?
Aye, he's a quiet fellow. He only comes here to check his post.
Yes, I've been corresponding with him using this address.
Have you now? You found yourself an admirer.
Not quite.
What business do you have with old Leonard, then?
We've become good friends through our correspondence.
So, I were right. He is an admirer, then.
Not in that sense.
So you've come all the way to Bewley on your own to meet old Mr. Shoulder because of innocent letters? Now, I can see a lie from a mile away. You can trust me, lass. Your secrets are safe with me. I just like a chat, especially with me guests. A good, honest chat.
Well, if you must know, I am what some people call a barrow digger.
A what?
A barrow digger.
What in God's name is that?
Are you familiar with tumuli?
Afraid not.
Barrow is another word for tumulus, or tumuli in the plural. A profoundly interesting subject.
You've lost me.
I excavate ancient burial sites looking for relics. A barrow is traditionally a circular mound of raised earth enclosing a burial chamber.
Oh, aye? You're a grave robber.
I am no such thing.
Don't worry, lass. I've met all sorts in here over the years. I won't tell anyone.
I assure you, my goal is more noble than petty grave robbery.
What sort of relics do you find, then? Gold? Silver? Bones?
Well, rarely gold or silver, but treasures certainly. Ancient pottery is the most common find. I've been excavating barrows all over the country. I'm documenting my findings in preparation for my book. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England.
Oh, aye. Very interesting. But what does old Leonard have to do with this?
He sent me a letter in which he told me about an unusual barrow in Bewley, a site called Hobbs Barrow. I'm meeting him here this evening to find out more.
I've lived here nigh on my whole life, and I've heard nowt about a Hobbs Barrow.
Are you sure you've never heard of Hobbs Barrow?
Not in my life, lass, but I'll tell you something. The moors stretch further than the eyes can see once you leave this village. There's no doubt many a discovery to be made.
Mr. Shoulder said the barrow is well known locally, a place of legend.
I'm afraid you're going to have to speak to him about it. Why are you interested in digging around in the dirt, lass? Haven't you better things to do with your time?
I enjoy nothing more than the thrill of discovery, uncovering the past and piecing together our history. I inherited this passion from my father.
Oh, a barrow digger too, eh?
Indeed. He would take me with him on excavations as a child.
Does he still come with you now, on your own adventures?
I'm afraid my father's been bedbound by illness for many years.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, lass.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. He is well looked after at a private hospital. Thanks for your time.
As you were.
A lovely place to warm oneself. The poor thing. A curmudgeonly-looking old fellow. Hello, sir.
Aye,
Do you know a Mr. Leonard Shoulder?
you're not local. You've come on that bloody train, haven't you? Bewley's going to dogs.
My name is Thomasina Bateman, and you are...
None of your business, lass. Where's your husband?
None of your business, sir.
Ah! You're brave coming in here, all on your own.
I'm a grown woman.
I'm Cyril.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Cyril. Do you know Mr. Shoulder?
That be none of your business, lass. I don't come to your city poking around asking questions, do I? Man just wants to enjoy his ale in peace.
I take it you are not enamoured with the railway station.
Bewley's gonna be swarming with outsiders, like you. We don't want you coming here. It's as simple as that, lass.
Why not?
This is our town, our land.
I assure you, I am not here to cause trouble.
We'll see about that, won't we?
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We're a proud community. I've lived here my whole life. Not much here to interest folks like you.
Folks like me?
Aye.
Bye for now.
Ta-ra, lass.
Mr. Shoulder should really be here by now. I'll sit down and wait. Where on earth is he? What a waste of time this is turning out to be.
Evening there, miss.
Not you again.
I just wanted to apologise for earlier. I got home, had my tea, but it gave me an aching belly.
How so?
I felt bad for how I spoke to you. I'm sorry. The drink gets a hold of me sometimes.
Let's start again, shall we?
My name is Arthur Tillett.
Thomasina Bateman.
What brings you to Bewley, anyway?
I'm here to meet someone, but he has not arrived.
His loss, if you ask me.
Perhaps you know the gentleman, Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, I know Mr. Shoulder all right. If I may be so bold as to say, he's a bit long in the tooth for you.
The relationship is not what you're implying. I've never met him. In fact, I know very little about him at all.
Get me an ale and I'll tell you all about the old sod.
I really don't think you need another.
Please.
No, you're already drunk.
Come on, just one more. Don't you want to hear about old Leonard Shoulder?
Well, yes.
Wet my whistle and I'll tell you everything there is to know.
You drive a hard bargain, Mr. Tillett. As you wish.
Thank you very much, Miss Bateman.
I have only 2 pence left. My assistant Kenneth is bringing more funds tomorrow, thankfully.
How can I help you?
A tankard of your finest ale, Mr. Kemp.
There we are. 2 pence, please.
Thank you. This was the last of my money, but Kenneth will be here tomorrow with more funds. Here you are, Arthur.
Thanking you. Oh, that hits the spot, that does, lass. Now then. Old Len. Leonard Shoulder.
Arthur? Mr. Tillett? Oh, for heaven's sake! The man is in a drunken stupor. After 1 drink too many, Arthur Tillett has passed out. Mr. Tillett? He's not dead, just very drunk. I would still like to hear what he has to say about Mr. Shoulder.
Oh, what the hell was that for?
You passed out, Mr. Tillett.
Oh, sorry, lass. Where were I? Leonard Shoulder. Hold on another minute. I'm making for a piss.
This man is unbelievable. It feels like an hour has passed. Perhaps I should go in there and check on him.
Miss Bateman? My apologies. The ladies are closed due to faulty plumbing. You'll have to use the gents.
Lovely. Mr. Tillett? These look modern. I'm surprised. I would rather not get any closer. The smell of urine is nauseating. There's no fresh water in there. The mirror is coated in a thick layer of grime. It looks like the towel has not been washed in months. It looks like the water looks highly questionable. I ought to keep my hands out of it. The mirror at some excavations are best left to others. Is Mr. Tillett in there? Mr. Tillett? Mr. Tillett, are you in there? It sounds like someone is in there. Mr. Tillett, are you in there? Well, you're not Mr. Tillett. The mangy thing is fast asleep. I'd rather not touch it. The thing stinks to high heaven. A cold draft is leaking in from under the door. This leads outside. I can see it's still raining out there. I can't reach the door opens a crack, but appears to be blocked from the other side. I think I can hear someone moving around. Mr. Tillett? Arthur, are you out there? Judging from the draft coming from below, this door must lead outside. I should investigate further.
How can I help you?
There's a door to the outside in the gents' lavatories. Why is it bolted?
That door doesn't even have a lock.
So you didn't block the door?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you seen Arthur Tillett?
I thought he were with you.
He went to the lavatory and has not returned.
That sounds like Arthur Tillett. Don't worry, lass. He'll be back.
Thanks for your time.
As you were.
Mr. Tillett has vanished. I should check outside. Excuse me, sir. A small alley splits the inn and its neighbour. A single glove is lying in the mud. A pearly white gent's glove. It's certainly unlike anything Mr. Tillett was wearing. Seems rather out of place here. Peculiar. The post has been embellished with a fine bronze bust of a horse. I suspect the barrels are empty, otherwise the locals would be rolling them into their cellars. I could tether a horse here if I had one. A warm glow permeates from within, making me feel somewhat cold and damp. The window is well out of reach. Someone has wedged the door shut. Mr. Tillett. Why would he have done that? Did Mr. Tillett leave, then block the door behind him? Something strange is going on here. Who was that old chap I saw outside the alley? He headed eastward. Maybe I could catch up with him and ask him if he saw Mr. Tillett. There's nothing else I wish to discuss at the moment. Do you know a Mr. Leonard Shoulder?
You ought to be careful asking too many questions round here. Be on your way.
Oh, I don't mean to...
Listen to me, will you? Be on your way.
Good evening, sir. Sir? A humble local dwelling. I don't wish to go knocking door to door. The old man has disappeared into the darkness. I'd best turn back to the inn.
Last orders.
I should get some sleep. Finding the missing men of Bewley shall have to wait for tomorrow. I have nothing else. The inn is closing soon. I should get some sleep and find him tomorrow. Kenneth will be arriving tomorrow at midday. I should get some sleep. A lovely place to warm oneself. Good evening, sir. I don't wish to take it. Kenneth will be arriving. Yes, I must get some sleep. I shall track down Mr. Shoulder tomorrow.
Miss Bateman,
Yes?
off to bed.
Yes. I'm afraid Mr. Shoulder's let me down.
The rotter. Perhaps he will make himself known tomorrow.
I should hope so. This is turning into a waste of my time.
Don't mind the locals, miss. It's just that we don't get a lot of visitors in Bewley.
Quite.
They mean well, believe me.
Sure, Mr. Kemp.
Please, call me Stanley.
Good night, Stanley.
Sleep well, Miss Bateman.
Such horrid dreams. Bolted from the inside, just as I left it last night. As I suspected, I must have dreamt of that wretched-looking cat. I must say I'm relieved. Right then. Let's see if I can track down the elusive Leonard Shoulder. I'm rather anxious to get to this Barrow. I also wonder what happened to Mr. Tillett. I've stored my cake a box. That candle didn't last long. The candle has melted. It's not much use anymore. Perhaps Mr. Kemp will replace it this evening.
Good morning, Miss Bateman.
Good day, Stanley. Stanley is yet to set the fire for today.
Did you sleep well, Miss Bateman?
Not really. I have the rather queer recollection of a cat entering my room last night.
A cat, you say?
Yes, an odd-looking grey one. I must have been dreaming, as I locked the door and windows before I went to sleep. I saw a similar cat in the lavatories while searching for Mr. Tillett.
Ah, Herbert. Oh, he's a harmless thing. He comes in now and then searching for scraps.
Indeed. Seeing him in the lavatories must have conjured up the strange dream.
The mind is capable of manifesting frightful things, Miss Bateman. I'm happy to report the rain of yesterday has lifted. It's a clear morning outside. Crisp. I've prepared a room for your assistant. What time will he be arriving today?
His train will get in around midday. Kenneth will also be bringing my excavation equipment.
Oh, aye? What does that entail?
Picks, shovels, buckets, lighting and such. He usually packs it in a large crate. Come to think of it, I'll need somewhere to store it.
You're welcome to use the alley behind the inn for any such bulky items.
Is it safe to do such a thing?
I can assure you the local folk are not thieves, Miss Bateman.
That's not what I...
Now, say nothing more of it.
Thank you, Stanley.
I'll let you get on with your day.
I'll be back with my assistant when he arrives.
Miss Bateman,
Yes?
I've something I wish to get off my chest, as it were. I've been tossing and turning all night, Miss Bateman. I feel rotten, I really do.
What on earth are you talking about?
As you know, I like to run an honest establishment. And well, I have not been honest with you, lass. I do know of Hobbs Barrow.
You do?
I do. Many here do. There are stories tied to that place, you know. If I've learned anything in this life, it's that some stones are best left unturned. Old Leonard Shoulder is someone to be wary of too. I can't tell you what to do, lass, but you'd best avoid him.
Why lie to me about Hobbs Barrow?
I know, lass, I know. I feel dreadful.
But why? What are these stories you speak of?
I really can't tell you more. If you insist on visiting that place, you'll have to seek out Mr. Shoulder. He brought you here. He should be the one to tell you.
I must say, Mr. Kemp, this is all quite puzzling. I've never let local superstitions stop me in the past. I pride myself on being a woman of logic and reason. I've no time to waste on such matters.
As I say, seek out Mr. Shoulder. He can tell you more.
Why must I be wary of Mr. Shoulder?
The man has a certain reputation.
For what?
You've seen it already. Were he here to meet you last night?
No.
Precisely. A man not to be trusted.
Where is Hobbs Barrow?
I don't know. I say that on my mother's grave, Miss Bateman.
I now find that hard to believe.
The moors are vast, lass. I'd tend not to go wandering out there. A grown man could lose himself and not be seen again.
Where does Mr. Shoulder live?
I can't say for sure. As I think I told you last night, he's a quiet man and keeps to himself. He only comes in here to collect his post. Leads me to believe he lives a fair distance away. Certainly not in the village itself.
Might someone around Bewley be able to help me find him?
You could ask around. As I say, lass, Bewley folk mean well. Don't forget that.
I shall return later.
Good day to you, lass.
I must say, last night has rather put me off using these toilets. The prices are cheap. It seems I may be fighting a battle against some sort of local superstition. Is there a single barrow in England that doesn't have some ghastly tale attached to it? Hogwash. All of it. I've a few hours until Kenneth arrives. I should use this time to find Mr. Shoulder. He looks like a rather shady character. These flowers look pretty. Someone must take good care of them. Hello. My name is Thomasina, and you are?
Now then, that's none of your concern, love.
What do you do around here?
Hey up, you're not scared of sticking your neb in. I look after the churchyard. Dig the graves. Ha!
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
I don't know out about no Leonard Shoulder.
What can you tell me about the church?
Aye, it's a church.
Quite. What can you tell me about Hobbs Barrow?
Naught to be found digging around in those things.
You know of local barrows, then?
Don't concern yourself.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Not much around here, love. Not worth mentioning to you, like.
I see. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
The little whelp looks determined to slaughter the very air itself. The young woman looks extremely bored by it all. Hello?
Yes?
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Douglas?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Douglas. That's a great sword technique you have.
Thanks, miss. Mr. Crozier's gonna make me a real one when I turn 12. I'm preparing myself to fight the lantern worm.
What is the lantern worm?
It's gonna come back and get us all. John Lantern thought he killed it at the River Wear, but my father told me it still lives. We must all be prepared.
The lantern worm isn't real, Douglas. Father just told you that to get you out of his hair.
Not true. I saw it slithering out by the beck. Like a giant eel it were. I ran home so fast I thought I would fly.
Sorry, miss. My brother has a vivid imagination.
Children often do at his age.
I'll keep training. You will all thank me when I thrust my sword deep into its fat belly.
Douglas, this lady doesn't want to hear your nonsense.
Do you like living in Bewley?
Yeah, I do. Are you from the city?
I'm from a long way away.
You must have come on the train. I love watching all the steam puff up into the sky.
Have you been on the train yourself?
No, miss. Our parents don't have the money for train tickets. Father says we have all we need here in Bewley.
Perhaps this nice lady would like to take you away with her on the train.
No, I need to stay and protect Bewley from the lantern worm.
Do you know a man called Leonard Shoulder?
That's a funny name.
Have you heard of Hobbs Barrow?
What's that?
A local burial mound.
Our parents don't let us wander far from the village.
What's a burial mound?
Don't you mind about that, Douglas.
Who's Mr. Crozier?
He's a blacksmith. His forge is just over there on the other side of the square.
Don't you think 12 years of age is a little young for a real sword?
I'll be a master swordsman by then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, miss.
Good day.
Hello, miss.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Betty.
Nice to meet you, Betty. What are you up to?
My brother is practicing his sword fighting technique. I'm to watch him until he tires himself out.
I'm tireless!
This time last month it were all about his teaspoon collection. This month it's swords.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Our parents don't like us talking to strangers, miss.
So you know of it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye, miss.
I don't think anyone is home. No one here. I don't think anyone... The blacksmith is toiling away. Good day.
Yes?
Mr. Crozier, I presume.
Aye, George Crozier, at your service.
My name is Thomasina.
Aye, can I help you?
Are you a Bewley native, Mr. Crozier?
Aye, born and bred. That's where my father's forge before mine.
How is business faring?
I do an honest trade. There'll always be horses needing shoes and farmers needing tools. You let me know if you need out made or mended. I'll do you a fair price.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier. Do you know a man by the name of Leonard Shoulder?
Oh, aye. Old Leonard.
Have you seen him recently?
No, not recently.
Do you know where he lives?
Why all these questions, lass?
I need to speak with him. He invited me to Bewley.
Oh, he'll turn up. I've seen him in the plough and furrow from time to time.
But do you know where he lives? I need to find him.
I believe he lives somewhere out on the moors. Can't tell you out more than that.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier. Do you know of a local landmark named Hobbs Barrow?
There's a fair many barrows found out on the moors, lass. Too many to put a name to. Not a soul in Bewley pays them any mind.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We don't get many visitors here, outside of market days. But there's plenty of work for the village blacksmith. Where are you from, then?
I arrived yesterday on the train from London, by way of Derby.
Oh, aye. I've heard about London.
What have you heard?
Plenty of factories there.
Yes, indeed. The city is always changing and moving forward.
Too busy for me, though, lass. I prefer a quieter pace. Aye.
When do market days run in Bewley?
Once or twice a month. The next one is tomorrow.
How delightful.
Unless your vice is cabbages, there'll be naught to interest a young lady.
I don't mind a cabbage.
Then you're in luck.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
A fantastic specimen. Alas, it is not mine to take. I have one just like this. I have one just... The blacksmith is right here. This must belong to someone. I should leave it alone. The bucket is... In memory of Peter Black. In memory of William Ager. In memory of Mabel Hurst. In memory of Benjamin Garkham. In memory of Millicent Smith. In memory of Henry Crozier. In memory of Romeo Hegg, dearly missed by his beloved Juliet. In memory of Percival Roach. In memory of Barnaby Tillett. In memory of George Paxton. A fine assortment of baked goods. A lovely treat for those who enjoy such things. The woman has a kind face. Hello.
Good day. Would you like to buy one of these cakes, pet?
What kind of cakes do you have?
I have some lovely Bakewell puddings, the sweetest marriage of almond and jam. I can tell you're not from around here, because if you were, you would know about my Bakewell puddings. They are quite famous.
Alas, I'm not carrying any money with me.
That's unfortunate, pet. I'm sorry, I can't give them away for free. The money goes to the church, you see, and one cannot shirk one's duty to the church.
I understand. My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Mrs. de Plancy.
A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. de Plancy.
Likewise, pet.
Tell me about yourself, Mrs. de Plancy.
About me? What would you possibly want to know about me? I've been attending St. Edmund's Church my whole life. I always want to help where I can, so I sell my baked goods and all the proceeds go to its upkeep. This place means so much to me.
Your cakes look delicious.
I can assure you they are. You'll not find better in the entire county.
What can you tell me about St. Edmund's Church?
Isn't it the finest building? It's been standing here since the 12th century. The box pews in the nave are very fine and date back to the 17th century. The door is open if you'd like to worship.
Thank you, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you know a local man called Leonard Shoulder?
Yes, I know Leonard. What business do you have with him?
It's a long story, but I'm trying to find where he lives.
I'm afraid I don't know, dear. Father Roach has access to the parish register. He might be able to help you.
What can you tell me about Father Roach?
He is a lovely man and an exemplary servant of the Lord. He's been the vicar of St. Edmund's for many years.
Where can I find Father Roach?
At this time of day, he'll be taking his exercise in Herne Wood, to the west of the village.
Thank you. I'll go find him.
Be sure to listen out for his merry whistling. Such a jolly man.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Hobbs what?
Hobbs Barrow, a local burial mound.
The only place of burial I know about and care for is in this very churchyard.
Thank you for your time.
Lord be with you.
The doors look weathered, but have stood the test of time. This leads to the church tower, I presume. Goodness me, look at these box pews. I've never seen any as tall as that before. Most unusual architecture, even for the Normans. The pews are contained within compartments that can be locked. I've seen a similar design in other Norman churches around England, but this is a particularly impressive example. Locked. Locked as well. I think they all might be. Is that a necklace? Someone has left a necklace hanging here. A silver cross. Sterling by the look of it. Maybe I can reunite it with its owner. Those have seen better days. The flowers have long since dried out. I don't want them. A memorial list of former vicars. They stretch back several hundred years. A memorial, extraordinary craftsmanship. I can admire the craftsmanship from afar. Stained glass depictions of various biblical scenes. It's not my specialist area. I've no time for such things. This must be where the local vicar sacrifices the newborns. I can't see how that will help me. I think this might be It's locked. Excuse me, do you think anyone would mind if I borrowed this trowel?
You help yourself, dear. Father Roach won't mind lending it. Just be sure to put it back when you're finished.
Of course, thank you.
It is more blessed to give than to receive.
Here lies Margaret Tillett, beloved mother, wife, and sister. Here lies today she dances with angels. John Purchase, dearly beloved husband of Florence. Forever in light, Anne Kemp. Joseph Davis. Samuel Bryden. Death is only a shadow across the path to heaven. Here lies Elizabeth Farnaby. This appears to be a recently dug, unmarked grave. This appears to... I may be a barrow digger, but I am no grave robber. William Paxton, modest and gentle of heart. Margaret's Lookout. I wonder who Margaret is, or was. I've seen cairns like this all over England, quite common. The locals might be alarmed if I dismantled their cairn. The moors continue for miles in this direction. I don't wish to lose my way. I'm not sure if these are poisonous or edible. I'd better not touch them. They could be poisonous. I'm not sure what that would achieve. Excuse me, I found this necklace inside the church. Is it yours?
No, pet. Perhaps someone left it behind yesterday. You keep hold of it for now. I'll ask around at the next service.
Are you sure?
I trust you.
This malaise will not pass. Oh, the nausea. I need your help, young lady.
Tell me what you need.
Let the blood from my arm.
Excuse me?
Cut me. I beg you.
The vicar looks dreadfully ill. I don't wish to look too closely. The vicar's spectacles lie broken on the forest floor. Ouch! The broken lens is extremely sharp. Ouch! Perhaps I shouldn't risk soiling this glove until I find its owner. This handkerchief was a gift from my mother. I hope she will understand. This should work. Are you sure this is the only way, Father?
I beg you. It's the only cure for this torturous malady.
Are you sure you want me to do this?
Yes, it will cure me of my ills.
I shall do as you ask, Father.
Thank the Lord for my spare pair. God bless you. I already feel quite better.
I'm glad, Father.
The rapid healing properties of bloodletting cannot be overstated. I'm Frederick Roach, vicar of St. Edmund's Church.
My name is Thomasina Bateman. It's a pleasure to meet you. Are you feeling better?
Yes, thank you.
What ails you, Father Roach?
I just ate a rotten berry, that's all. I like to pick blackberries for my supper, you see. They are quite delicious, as long as you mind the bramble. My apologies again. I wish we had met in different circumstances.
Are you from Bewley originally?
I was born in our very own St. Edmunds. It's quite the story.
Do tell.
My mother was sheltering there as a frightful tempest raged. And lo, did her waters break right there and then in that pew.
One could say that you were born into your role, Father.
Indeed. When my mother told me the story as a young boy, I knew that this was my calling.
St. Edmund's is a fine building.
Thank you for saying so. It's hard work keeping her in good shape, but our congregation is always willing to lend a hand in the Lord's name.
What is it like being the vicar here?
Every day is a blessing, my child. I have a great love for our parish, and the Lord looks after us.
What about your congregation?
Numbers have fallen over the years, I must say. But those that remain are faithful and full of His Spirit.
I'm looking for Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, yes? Are you a relative?
No, it's a long story, but he invited me to Bewley.
And he didn't tell you his address?
He was to meet me last night at the Plough and Furrow, but he never came.
I see. Well, let me welcome you to Bewley on his behalf.
Thank you, Father. Do you know where Mr. Shoulder lives?
Let me think. It's been many moons since I've paid him a visit.
Perhaps you could allow me to take a look at the parish register.
No need. I remember it now. A fair hike across the moors.
Could you please give me directions?
I'll take you there myself. It's the least I can do after you aided me so.
Capital. Thank you.
Just let me know when you're ready to pay him a visit. I'll be resting here for the time being.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I can't say I've heard of it.
It's supposedly a famous local landmark.
I'm afraid I know nothing about it.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
It's a quiet town. The railway line, which I presume you arrived by, is the only news of note we've had here for years.
I've heard the new station has received a mixed reaction.
I've heard many a debate, it's true. But my role is not to adjudicate on that matter. I'm very busy in my own work, you see.
I'm ready to go to Mr. Shoulder's house.
Excellent. I feel the fresh air will do me well. Follow me.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Mrs. Duplancy. Mrs. Duplancy, this is Thomasina Bateman, a visitor to our parish.
We've already had the pleasure of meeting, Father.
Excellent. Miss Bateman, don't hesitate to try one of Mrs. Duplancy's wonderful cakes.
Yes, I've heard about her famous Bakewell puddings.
I'll be here all day, young lady. But remember, once they're gone, they're gone. Those little whelps have already gobbled up all the gingerbread.
You are doing God's work, Mrs. Duplancy.
He smiles upon us, Father.
Miss Bateman, if you'd like to follow me. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors and talk of wills.
Shakespeare?
Quite. Which play?
Macbeth.
Magnificent guess, Miss Bateman, but I'm afraid that passage is from Richard II. Studying the work of the bard is one of my favorite pastimes. Follow me. Behold, the vast expanse of God's creation. The moors extend as far as the mortal eye can see. Beautiful, is it not?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The beauty of God's creation is that it takes so many forms. How can one take in such a view and not have faith? Some look at these moors and think this a godless land. But I tell you, he is found in all domains. The Lord's work is all about us. Tell me, Miss Bateman, do you believe in God?
I was brought up Anglican. The church was an important part of my early life, Father Roach. But what happened to my father eventually made me question things.
If you don't mind me asking, my child, what happened to your father?
He had an accident when I was very young.
Come along now, Thomasina. Let's get out of the rain. Remember what I told you, all right? Be a good girl. People are unwell here. They don't want to hear you running about making noise. Understood?
Yes, Mother.
Good. And don't annoy the nurses.
I promise I won't.
Good. Now, let's see your father.
Mummy is crying. Mummy? Mummy? Daddy is sleeping. Daddy, wake up!
Good evening, Mr. Bateman. Hello, little one. You must be Thomasina?
Yes.
My name is Nurse Blaketon. I just need to talk to your mummy for a little bit. I'm sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Bateman. Mrs. Bateman?
Will he ever talk again, Nurse Blaketon?
The doctor is uncertain, Mrs. Bateman. There is the possibility that Mr. Bateman won't regain any movement at all. But we will do our utmost to look after Mr. Bateman here at Ticehurst Manor. He will have a nurse by his side at all times, I can assure you.
What sort of god would allow this fate to befall such a kind and honest man?
I'm sorry to hear this. God moves in mysterious ways, but he loves us all. Come along now.
Hello? She scampered off in a hurry. Who was that?
Some primitive folk make their home out on the moors. I suggest you keep your wits about you when you are exploring, and don't stray too far from Bewley.
I see. How much farther to Mr. Shoulder's house?
Still quite a walk, I'm afraid, but we'll get to him soon enough. Now then, take a look at this. Legend has it that this cairn has stood here for over 1,000 years.
How remarkable.
The Devil's Toe.
I beg your pardon?
That's what it's called. The Devil's Toe.
Oh, I see.
Come now, onward.
We walked and walked across that vast, featureless landscape. All the while, Father Roach was whistling away merrily. Just as I had begun to wonder if we were hopelessly lost, a building emerged from the mist. Mr. Shoulder's cottage.
Here we are, Miss Bateman. Unless my memory fails me completely, this is Mr. Leonard Shoulder's house.
Thank you for your help, Father Roach.
Now, no need to thank me after your providential assistance today. However, I have something to ask you.
Yes?
Please don't tell Mrs. de Plancy about my little scene in the woods. She will only fret. The poor dear woman has enough on her mind as it is.
I shan't mention it.
Thank you. You'd better see if Mr. Shoulder is in.
Father Roach still looks rather pallid. This must provide a charming view across the moor.
No sign of life?
None. The window is nice and clean. The dwelling is by no means abandoned. A sweet little hen, plump and well-groomed. He looks much too unruly to be picked up. Here, chuk chuk chuk.
Don't encourage them.
Mr. Shoulder has stacked blocks of wood neatly beneath this small lean-to.
Very neat and tidy.
Mr. Shoulder? Is Thomasina Bateman here? I'm here in Bewley as discussed.
Maybe try again. His hearing probably isn't the best at his age.
The trousers feel damp. Freshly hung or still wet from last night's rain? That glove looks familiar. I wonder if it matches the glove I found behind the plough and furrow. The gloves are a pair. Does this mean Mr. Shoulder was in the alley last night? Why didn't he come inside to see me? Slightly damp.
I have a similar one myself. So very warm.
Mr. Shoulder, are you home? It appears Mr. Shoulder is not at home. Curses.
Perhaps you could try the handle.
It's locked.
Perhaps he's gone for a stroll.
Possibly.
I'd suggest you call back later, my child. I myself must make my way back home. I have some matters to attend to at the church. Shall I accompany you back to Bewley?
No, you go ahead, Father, thank you.
As you wish. Farewell, Miss Bateman. I hope Mr. Shoulder finds his way to you.
Thank you for your help, Father Roach.
My pleasure. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Romeo and Juliet?
Correct. That I shall say good night till it be morrow. Lord be with you.
Well, Mr. Shoulder, you've brought me to Bewley, and now you're nowhere to be found. No sign of any movement. This key doesn't... You're a sweet little thing, aren't you? I've no desire to lug a block of... The window is much too high up to reach. A carved stone has been affixed to the door. I think it depicts a crescent moon. A carved stone... It's bolted onto the door itself. That is not coming off. As I trudged back to Bewley across those cold moors, I made a new resolution. I would find Hobbs Barrow myself, with or without Mr. Shoulder. The train! That must be Kenneth. I should go and meet him at the station. Where is Kenneth? He was supposed to wait for me at the station. Mr. Tillett, where did you go last night?
Have we met?
Last night at the Plough and Furrow.
Oh, Miss Bateman. I were blind drunk last night and woke up with a stinking headache.
You still smell like a brewery.
I'm sorry.
You went to use the lavatory and never came back, Mr. Tillett. I searched everywhere for you.
I think I remember you bought me a drink. Then it's all a blur. I woke up in my bed this morning with my wife sour at me for waking her at some ungodly hour.
About last night. What were you going to tell me about Leonard Shoulder?
Who?
Leonard Shoulder. You told me you knew him, and promised to tell me more if I bought you a drink. Which I did. So what were you going to tell me?
I don't really know the old bugger.
But you said you did.
Oh, aye. No, I know naught about him. No, naught about Leonard Shoulder.
You're hiding something, Mr. Tillett. I don't believe you.
I say a lot of things when I've got the drink in me. I probably just wanted you to buy me an ale.
A likely story.
Look, what would I gain from lying to you? I just wanted another drink.
Even if that's the case, it doesn't explain your disappearance.
Aye, I don't remember out.
About last night. You really don't remember where you went last night?
As I say, it's all a blur. I remember needing a piss. Then... nothing. Well, you must have missed me when I came out.
I did not. I even went to the gents' toilets to find you.
Oh, aye. A sight for sore eyes.
It was. I checked everywhere, and you were nowhere to be found. The back door leading to the alleyway was blocked from the outside.
Oh, aye?
Yes. You must have exited through that door, Mr. Tillett.
But you just said it were blocked.
There must be an explanation.
My mind has drawn a blank.
Why was the door blocked? Did you block it?
I told you I don't remember. I've naught to say 'cause I remember naught.
I found Mr. Shoulder's house, but he wasn't home.
Don't worry. You'll find him.
How's your headache faring?
It feels like a steam engine is driving full pelt in a circle around me skull.
Be sure to drink plenty of water, Mr. Tillett.
Aye. I'll survive.
So, you work here?
Aye. Bewley's station master at your service. Would you like to buy a ticket?
Not just yet, thank you. I understand that some of the locals are not too happy about this new station.
Aye. I'd go as far as saying the whole village.
How long has the station been open for?
About 3 months. We're on the Midland Railway line. This employment's been a saviour for me. If I weren't stood here, I'd be drinking my life away at the pub right now. It's worth the occasional withering look from Cyril and the rest of them.
What does a station master do?
A bit of this and a bit of that. I don't wish to bore you with such things.
As you wish.
My responsibilities here keep me on the straight and narrow, I'll tell you that much. A sense of duty can do wonders for a lost soul.
Indeed. This must be a rather lonesome post to occupy.
Trains pass through here more regularly than you might think, lass.
I'm looking for my assistant, Kenneth.
Oh, aye?
His train has arrived.
Not a single soul disembarked the last train, Miss Bateman.
Impossible. Was that not the midday train from London by way of Derby?
Aye, it were. Mr. Price were here, unloaded a few crates.
But no Kenneth.
Not a soul. Hold on. One of them crates had your name on it, Miss Bateman. A great big one it were, with...
A red ribbon.
Aye.
What is Kenneth playing at, sending my equipment but not himself? Curses. Where is my crate now?
Mr. Price took away all the crates on his cart.
Who?
Mr. Price, he's the postmaster.
Where can I find Mr. Price?
He lives above the storeroom, just north of the plough and furrow. You'll see it. There's a Royal Mail plaque on the wall.
Thank you. Where can I find Mr. Price?
He lives above... You'll see it.
Thank you. I'm looking for Hobbs Barrow.
Hobbs Barrow.
It's why Leonard Shoulder invited me to Bewley. He thought I might like to excavate it.
Oh, aye. I heard about a Hobbs Barrow somewhere out there. There's some old stories around it.
What stories?
I can't remember.
Mr. Tillett, please. This is important.
I'm awfully sorry, Miss Bateman. I'll try to remember. If he invited you here, then I'm sure Mr. Shoulder will tell you all about it.
That's if I ever get to meet him.
I'm sure you will.
Farewell for now.
Ta-ra!
Cyril is no doubt keeping watch on any potential new arrivals from the railway station. Good day to you, Cyril.
How do, lass?
What are you up to, Cyril?
Keeping an eye on that bleeding railway station. That's what. Thankfully, no one got off the last train.
Really hate that station, don't you?
Oh, I curse Midland Railway for bringing their damn line through Bewley. This is our town, our land. 'Tis no place for outsiders.
So you keep saying.
Anyway, no more trains today. Almost time to celebrate with an ale, I think.
I could do with one myself.
You paying?
No. I found Mr. Shoulder's house today, but he wasn't home.
Why the bleeding hell should I care, lass?
I'm looking for Hobbs Barrow. Do you know where it is?
Mind your own business, lass.
You really are quite helpful, aren't you?
Bah.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra, lass. Why are you knocking on me bleeding door? I'm right here, you daft bugger.
Oh, apologies. I don't think anyone is home. No doubt home to many a woodland creature. I've no desire to go rooting about in there.
I shall see you later this evening, gents.
Well, I say. Greetings, my dear.
Hello, sir.
A pause on your beauty, for I shall see you again soon.
Wait! Some nerve.
Lady, you're blushing.
I most certainly am not. The men look like they've spent many a long day exposed to the harsh moorland weather. The path continues through the woods.
Sorry, lass. No way through here today.
Let me pass.
Not today, by order of Lord Panswick. Now get back before you find yourself under a falling tree. There's nought even down there.
You're not going to let me pass, are you?
Now she gets it.
My name is Thomasina Bateman.
Oh, aye? You're not from round here, Thomasina Bateman.
No, just visiting. What is your name, sir?
Horace.
Are you in charge here?
I am indeed.
Tell me, who was that arrogant man here just now?
Just someone passing by.
It sounded like you knew him better than that.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's none of your business.
What are you doing here?
What does it look like I'm doing? We're chopping down trees.
There is no need to be sarcastic.
We're employed by Lord Panswick. He's ordered us to gather logs from his woods. That's what we're doing.
These are his woods.
Aye, his lordship owns most of the land round Bewley.
Who is Lord Panswick?
Our governor.
He's the governor of the whole town.
All right, Owen, back to work now.
He lives in Bewley.
Aye, not far away. But his lordship doesn't like questions. Or visitors. Now please leave us to our work.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
No, I don't. Can you let me get back to my work now?
Why are you gathering logs for Lord Panswick?
By heck, you ask a lot of questions. If you must know, his lordship is repairing an old ruin on his land. We need the timber for the restoration work.
How intriguing. What type of ruin is Lord Panswick restoring?
An old chapel.
I should rather like to see it.
Not possible. His lordship does not welcome visitors to his estate.
Do you know where I can find a place called Hobbs Barrow?
Never heard of it.
Thanks for your time.
We'll be done by tomorrow morning. Come back then if you want to explore the woods.
The men look like... I'll let him get on with his work. I'll let him get on.
Lass, as I told you, There's no way down the path today.
Hello.
Good day.
Father Roach asked me not to discuss that with Mrs. de Plancy. What do you know about Lord Panswick?
Wretched man. They say he is restoring a chapel near his manor. But for whom and to what god, I ask?
Is he a man of faith?
I've barely seen him set foot in St. Edmund's. It doesn't stop him from acting as our God-given ruler. Stay away from him, pet. Don't get yourself tangled up in local affairs.
I certainly don't intend to. Are you sure you don't know where Hobbs Barrow is?
Hobbs what?
Never mind. Why did you call Lord Panswick wretched?
He hides in that manor of his and cares not for his people. I've heard stories whispered in the pews, you know.
What kind of stories?
That he shoots people on sight. Anyone that strays onto Panswick Manor.
Good grief!
Yet he will walk into the Plough and Furrow and buy ale for all and be hailed as our protector. I answer to God and God alone. Forgive me, pet. I shouldn't get so worked up.
Not at all. I appreciate your honesty, Mrs. de Plancy. Thank you for your time.
Lord be with you.
Good day.
Yes?
I noticed your spectacular fossil specimen.
Oh, I collect them. This one is called an...
Ammonite.
I'm impressed, lass.
From the Jurassic period, I'd venture.
Do you collect them too, then?
My true interests lie in comparatively modern history.
Oh, aye. Well, I do love a fossil. It's important to remember that we all end up in the soil eventually.
Quite. What can you tell me of Lord Panswick?
His lordship commands much respect around here, lass. Keeps me busy with work. Why do you ask?
Just curious. Are you sure you don't know where Hobbs Barrow is?
Sorry, lass.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
That must be the postmaster's storeroom. He looks a little chirpier than your average Bewley resident. Hello.
Good day. I haven't seen you in Bewley before.
I'm just visiting.
Lovely. It's nice to see a new face. We don't get many visitors. My name's Henry. Henry Long.
Nice to meet you, Henry. Thomasina Bateman.
Wonderful. What a treat.
You seem in a good mood, Mr. Long.
It's just lovely to see a new face. Where are you from, Miss Bateman?
Bakewell.
Not too far away, then. I've never been myself.
Have you travelled much, Mr. Long?
Why on earth would I ever want to leave Bewley? I have all I need here. I were born in this very home I stand in front of. Bewley is in my blood. Why would I ever want to leave? Especially now I can meet new folk thanks to the railway line.
I'm looking for Mr. Price, the postmaster.
Oh, Mr. Price, my lovely neighbour. I'm afraid you've just missed him.
Curses.
I saw him wheeling a large crate into his storeroom just there.
It must be mine. I really need it.
Have a look through the window to see if it's yours.
Where did Mr. Price go?
I don't know. The man were in a hurry. I know he has family in Bakewell.
That's miles away. Did he leave by foot?
No, by horse. He must be a few miles down the road by now.
Curses. When will Mr. Price be back?
He didn't say. Could be tonight, could be a few days.
How infuriating.
I told him I'd keep watch of his storeroom, and I'm a man of my word, Miss Bateman. I shall not budge from this spot.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
Aye, funny old fellow. I hear he lives way out on the moors somewhere.
Have you seen him recently?
No, not for a long while now that you mention it. Why do you ask?
It's a long story, but I was to meet him in Bewley. He invited me here.
Well, I must thank him when I see him for inviting such an enchanting young woman.
You flatter me, Mr. Long. I'm looking for Hobbs Barrow.
One of those old burial hills?
Yes. Do you know where it is?
Believe it or not, I haven't set foot on the moors since I were a child.
Why is that?
I've got all I need right here in Bewley. And we're all truly blessed with the railway station, which brings us lovely new faces.
Your opinion of the railway station differs widely from your fellow townsfolk, Mr. Long. I've not met anyone particularly keen on it.
That railway line is the start of a new era for Bewley, mark my words. There's much to protect here, but we need new blood. I hope that some of you visitors will actually stay here permanently.
Why is that?
So I have new friends to talk to. Some people here don't want any new friends. Cyril Farnaby, the miserable old sod, is the worst offender.
I've had the pleasure of meeting Cyril. He really dislikes the railway station.
Absolutely miserable he is. I've tried to convince him many times that the station will help Bewley. He just doesn't understand.
I met him last night in the Plough and Furrow.
Aye, the scene of our many debates. Blimey. I could go for an ale right now, actually.
Can I buy you a drink?
Really?
No. Wait. Do you think Mr. Kemp will let me open a tap?
Perhaps. You could always ask him. I shouldn't leave anyway. Mr. Price is relying on me to keep watch of his storeroom.
Goodbye.
Don't be a stranger.
The man is... Royal Mail, Postmaster's Residence. This must be the local post office. There's my crate. Kenneth always ties a red ribbon to it. I can see an envelope tucked behind the ribbon. Perhaps it can help explain Kenneth's absence. I'm going to have to get in there.
The postmaster isn't home.
But my crate is in there.
You'll have to wait for Mr. Price to get back.
I don't think anyone is home. Hello? What can you tell me about Lord Panswick?
Naught to say, except don't be sniffing around his lordship's manor. You'll end up with a round of shot in you.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me. Just mind your own business around here.
I really must find Hobbs Barrow.
What did I tell you last time? Naught to be found digging around in those things.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
I'd rather not go. This young fellow looks miserable. This young... Hello there. My name's Thomasina.
Yeah?
What's yours?
Wally?
Do you know a man called Leonard Shoulder?
No.
What do you know about Lord Panswick?
I heard he owns the whole county.
Have you met him?
No, he lives out on the moors somewhere. But everyone does what he tells them to.
Why's that?
Because he has a lot of money.
Have you heard of a place called Hobbs Barrow?
No.
Goodbye. Nobody home. The road disappears over the horizon. I see nothing but moorland. Good day, sir. I'm sorry to ask this, Mr. Kemp, but could I please open a tab?
Still not in your purse?
I'm afraid not. My assistant hasn't arrived as planned, so I find myself in a bind. He must have put the money in my crate, which is currently being held in Mr. Price's storeroom.
Well, as you know, I run an honest establishment here, and I do trust you. So yes, I'll open an account for you, to be settled at the end of your stay.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Now then, I'll be needing something of value as a deposit.
I thought you said you trusted me.
Aye, it's not personal, lass. One can never be too cautious.
I found Mr. Shoulder's home, thanks to the help of Father Roach.
Wonderful! So you've met our vicar then?
Yes, I did. An interesting character.
Indeed. So, did old Leonard apologise for his absence?
Not quite. He wasn't home.
What is that man playing at?
You tell me. I've decided to find Hobbs Barrow without Mr. Shoulder's aid.
Are you sure that's a wise idea, lass?
What other choice do I have? I have a feeling he is avoiding me. Do you know where I can find the barrow?
No, sorry. I say that on my mother's grave, Miss Bateman.
My assistant has not arrived as planned.
Oh, is everything all right?
I'm not entirely sure.
Am I to keep a room for him just in case?
If you could hold it for one more night, Mr. Kemp.
As you wish.
What can you tell me about Lord Panswick?
A most charming man, Miss Bateman. He looks after us here, a good fellow.
Where does he live?
Panswick Manor, on the moors. No visitors allowed. His lordship likes his privacy.
How can I open a tab again?
Leave me, I'll give it back to you when it will be time to pay the piper.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Will you accept this silver cross pendant as a deposit?
Can I take a closer look at it? Aye, silver. That'll do.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Can I get you something to drink?
Not right now, Mr. Kemp.
As you were.